I'm Cassidy,
And I'm Kennedy.
and this is Threads of Wealth.
There's so much noise in the wellness world. Do this, don't do that, buy everything.
H2 tab is really the opposite of that. It's a small habit that we've added that feels supportive instead of overwhelming.
You just drop a tablet into your water and it turns into hydrogen-rich water that helps with energy, recovery, and hydration.
There's no powders, there's no flavor, and it's actually really simple to just drop it in and add it to whatever else you're already drinking. If you're craving simple, life-giving wellness, try H2 Tab. Use code Threads of Wealth for 10% off. That's Threads of Wealth, WELLTH, for 10% off.
We want wellness to be something that supports you and your family in a realistic yet life-giving way. We want to remind everybody that we are not healthcare professionals. We are simply two sisters who are talking about what has worked for us and our families to become the best versions of ourselves. If you are struggling with true medical conditions, we advise seeking professional help. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Wellness trends, or trends in general really, but we're talking specifically about wellness trends, can be kind of a double-edged sword. I mean, on the positive side of things, it can increase awareness to whatever you're talking about. Sometimes it can increase access to if something catches on in your area and people want to bring it to you. But on the flip side, I think they can oversimplify health. You know, a lot of things are marketed as a one-size-fits-all approach, or, do this one thing and it will cure everything that's wrong or fix all of your problems. It also can really add a lot of added pressure to you. And I think that's the one thing that wellness does not need more of, is pressure.
Yeah, I think just the trends that I've seen, like there's some that are good and some that I don't think are worth anything. Mm-hmm. But like the thing is that it really depends on the person. And I think it can do I think some of them can do a lot of good, but also there's just can be a lot of pressure behind them. And then everybody thinks like, I have to do this if I want to be healthy. And I think that they're like, if you look at, depending on, you have to look at each trend, individually, but you have to look at them as like, this isn't like a necessity. It can help maybe if, depending on your circumstances and your overall health, but it's not like, I think the theme out there is like, you have to do every trend if you want to be healthy.
Right. Yeah. It's definitely not, they add up. The one, it's expensive too. It's just who has time in that for all of that stuff in your day-to-day life. But I also think that it can be really confusing, because one trend that works for me, and I don't want to say a trend, but I kind of want to get away from that word, because there are things that are actually beneficial that are outside of the trends. But one thing that works for me might not work for you. And so I think it's really important to do your research no matter what you're doing. I think social media plays a huge part in quote unquote trends right now. You're scrolling and you're watching videos of people that look a certain way or are super healthy, and you're like, I want to do what they're doing. And I think it's important to take the comparison out of that. And if that product, if you think that's actually going to help you, then that's great. But do your research first before just assuming that it's going to fix your problems, because one, you could save time and energy, and two, it might not work for you. And so then you don't have to waste all of that time figuring out if it's right for you and your family.
You also need to figure out if it's going to fit into your lifestyle, or if it's going to make you more stressed out. If it's one more thing that you have to add into your routine, so to speak, then that's probably going to be doing more harm than good. If it's something that after you've done your research, like you said, after you've figured out, is this going to benefit me? Figure out if it's already going to fit into something that you're doing, or if you have room in your day to add it. And if so, then I think that it's great if you can. And, if it fits into your lifestyle, then that's great. But I think my biggest problem with trends is just like the pressure that I think it puts people on, and I think what trends, social media obviously is what it drives us to trends. We wouldn't even know what trends are without social media.
Right. Yeah.
So that's the thing to just be careful of when you're looking at them, and like it seems like everybody's doing it. Well, that's because it's social media, and you have to remember that they're influencers, and they might be getting paid to do the certain trend, so just keep that in mind too.
Yeah. I saw something, which I probably saw it on social media. So I probably saw like a little bit of a hypocrite.
We all are like on social media. So it's not like you shouldn't be on social media.
Right.
Because I do too, but.
Yeah. But I saw something about just using the longevity test. So, and it's not like a super formal test, but when you see something, ask yourself a few questions. If I adopt this into my routine, or if I start doing this, will it be a habit or will it be a phase? Because one, you don't want to necessarily start something that you're not going to be consistent with, because that's not necessarily going to be super beneficial for you. And the other question is this going to matter in 5 years? This is actually going to make my life better. Am I going to see the importance of it today like I will in 5 years? And so I think those are just a few good questions to like quickly ask yourself before going into a rabbit hole of research and whatnot. Just quickly ask yourself those few questions, and maybe that will help you identify if it's worth looking into more.
Yeah. Should we go through our list of trends?
Yeah.
We did an Instagram poll on what people wanted to like dive into.
Right. Yeah. No, we actually got a lot of really interesting responses, which I was happy about. We'll just kind of go down the line and we can talk about maybe our experience with that and kind of what we
just
think.
Maybe like our viewpoints on it, what we've heard and learned through each one, because I think there's a fair amount that like we've each tried,
right,
and what we've seen and learned through it.
Yeah, the first one is a heavy metal detox. I personally haven't done a heavy metal detox. I personally believe that it can be super beneficial, but for me it's one of the things that there's kind of a lot of information out there about the best way to do it, and I haven't yet figured that out. So have you done more?
I haven't done it either. I have researched it a lot though, and I've come to the conclusion for my own like my experience or my own sake is that I want to have like more of a professional like guide it.
Yeah.
Because I think there's a lot of different avenues that you can do it, and you can like take different products, and I'm just like, I just don't know what the best route would be.
Right.
I do know that it seemed like it can be intense and expensive, and I feel like so for that reason, like it's just like I'd rather have a professional like telling me how to do it rather than just go for it.
Yeah. Well, I think that's maybe a good point to say that if any of you have had experience with a heavy metal detox and a positive experience, or maybe not so positive, we are doing this to also learn as we go. And so I would just encourage people to share those stories with us if they have experienced anything, if they're comfortable with that with us, because I think that would be really interesting to know, especially in this case, because neither of us have really dove into that. So I think that'd be interesting.
Yeah, and it's so one thing for people that haven't heard of a heavy metal detox too, the reason people do it is because of all of the things that we're exposed to in our everyday life that maybe we weren't exposed to 50 years ago, 100 years ago. Our environment is full of toxins, and that's just a fact. And so people do heavy metal detox to just rid themselves of all that. But there's also, I will say that another reason I haven't done it is because I think, well, for one, like our body is made to detoxify itself. So like our liver, like I try to make sure that try to make sure that you're supporting the functions that your body can already do, like supporting your liver, like doing sauna, things like that detoxify your body.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. Because again, we talked about in the beginning about how it can really just oversimplify health, that just because you do a heavy metal detox doesn't mean that all of your problems are going to go away. It could be really beneficial for you depending on your what you're struggling with or your current state, but that's a good reminder.
I think one more thing too about that is that I think heavy metal detox is good for if you see symptoms of yourself. So I'm asking yourself, am I seeing symptoms, or am I just like responding to the fear-based messaging that's out there on the heavy metal, the heavy metal and heavy metals that we're exposed to, and the heavy metal detox. So it's really like individualizing it for each person.
Yeah, I think that's another red flag, I think, for wellness trends is there's just a lot of fear mongering going on about, you know, you kind of social media or headlines specifically can really scare you into making decisions because you're like, I don't know about this, but apparently I'm gonna die, so I need to do this. And I think that's a really scary way to approach wellness and health in general. And so I think just slowing down, not letting fear take over, and doing your research, talking to your doctor if you're actually struggling and seeing symptoms is super important.
Yeah.
Okay, the next one, red light therapy.
Well, I personally really love red light. Yeah. That is one of the trends that I just really looked at and was like, yep, I can fit that into my routine. And yes, I see the benefits to it, especially since we live in the winter time. Like we live in South Dakota where there's no sun right now. And so red light is beneficial for that. And then I have like the red light face mask, which I honestly like. Besides the benefits that come from with it, I just enjoy it. Like I think it energizes me in the morning. And I have like just the Loombox red light, which I know you do too. And I actually really notice a difference with it. So I know you said you use your face mask in the morning, but is there a certain point in your routine that you utilized your Loombox? Kind of either like in the morning and night, both really. Like when I'm already doing the face mask, and it's usually I use that Loombox like on my back because my back hurts a lot. So I put it on my back, and that's more of where the face mask is more like for the
blemishes,
cosmetic benefits. That is more of the like deep tissue benefits, the Loombox healing, because it penetrates deeper. So I utilize them both at the same time, and then at night I like to just like put it on my neck too, because I feel like it honestly relaxes me. I heard that tip from somebody to put it on your neck before you go to bed, and it's supposed to relax you, and I feel like it actually works.
That's good to know. I'm gonna have to try that. I love the Loombox. I have that too. I actually started I'm not very good about turning all of my overhead lights off until I go to bed. And so I've recently started not like while I'm washing my face at night and brushing my teeth, not having the overhead lights on in the bathroom, or if I'm taking a shower at night, because it gives off a lot of light. The Loombox does, and I think most red light things do as well. But I've started just putting it on its stand and then using that as my light to like wash my face and brush my teeth and do kind of like my nighttime routine. And it's kind of relaxing for me. It's not such a harsh contrast to these overhead lights, and then boom, I lay in bed and am expecting to fall asleep in 2 minutes. So I really like that. I also just ordered, I haven't used them yet. They haven't come in, but I ordered these light bulbs for all of our lamps and pendants that are supposed to be really good for circadian rhythm. And so my plan is to replace all of our lamps with those light bulbs, and then like the pendants over the island and other, not like the can lights. I'm not going to replace any of those, but just other lights that we can have at night that aren't necessarily going to disrupt that. I do think that might not be for everybody, but I do think that that's something that can be really beneficial for me and my family. It's pretty simple for me to do, just changing out a light bulb. Again, I haven't used it yet, but
does that have regular light too, or is it just red light?
There are some there. It's not actually red light. It's it's like it's specifically made to be better for circadian rhythms. Gotcha. But there are red light bulbs, but there's also a more expensive brand that I didn't go with that adjusts throughout the day. So it's brighter, more of like, not necessarily LED, but it's like brighter in the morning, and it helps like wake you up and energize. And then once it hits like the sun, it recognizes the sun coming down, it transitions into like, okay, we're winding down. And then once it's completely dark outside, it's a different setting. So I can't remember what brand that is, but it was really expensive. So I didn't go with that. But yeah,
I did try one time. I tried the red light bulbs.
Yeah.
I didn't like, I bought like 2 and I put them in a couple lamps that I keep on at night. And I was like, you know, this makes my house look a little creepy from the outside. Like it was just glowing red.
It's glowing red.
I'm just like, okay, this might be a little too far. So I quit that.
Yeah. It was a good try.
Yeah, just to try it.
Yeah.
But I did I actually did the same thing at night with the using just the detox too.
I love it.
Yeah, and it's really, I also do the red light glasses, so that anything that I see is just like, it's just, everything's red, which I know Tanner does that too.
Those too, and it's so funny because they're like bright orange lenses, and I always tell him he looks like Ozzy Osbourne or something, and it's just so funny. But then I had my red light on one night in the bathroom, and he walks in with those glasses, and he's like, "Why are all the lights off?" And I said, "I have my red light thing on." He's like, what? And he like couldn't even tell because it was, I mean, well, I guess the glasses work.
It works. That's a good sign, actually.
Yeah.
So like the red light is something that I can really get behind.
Yeah.
I do think that, but honestly, like sunlight. Is right. You can't replace sunlight, and that's kind of what red light does. And so I think in living in a modern world, like we just can't always have that sunlight. Like in the summertime, I try to get outside right away in the morning and get sunlight, but like when you have a busy life, it just doesn't always happen. And so, I think you can't replace sunlight, but I do really like red light.
Yeah. Okay, next one. Sauna and cold plunge, or just contrast therapy in general?
I have 2 different opinions. For one, I love sauna. I hate cold plunge.
And is that because you don't think it works, or because you hate being cold? Because
probably
mine is, same.
I don't think that I like cold plunge is miserable, for one. And honestly, like if I'm going to be miserable doing something, I just won't do it, even if it has a lot of benefits, because I feel like for me, it's just like it causes me more anxiety. Like and I'm sure you're the same, but like before I get into a cold plunge, which I've done a few times, like I just get so anxious. I'm like, I hate this.
I'm like, I would absolutely, with every fiber in my being, dread it and hate it. And I think that I have not done cold plunging a whole lot, I haven't done it a whole lot. But I remember the one time, so when Tanner first got into it, he bought a cattle tank at, I think, Tractor Supply, and it was in the winter, and so he filled it up with water, put it out on our back porch so it would like naturally stay cold, obviously, because it was the winter time. And I think the one night he really like desperately wanted me to try it, it was, I think, like 12 degrees and blizzarding out. And I'm like, I don't even want to be outside in a winter jacket right now, let alone
exactly.
Like
in a
not very many clothes and freezing cold water. And I went in there, and I mean, I'm guaranteed, or I will fully accept that I'm a little dramatic when it comes to being cold, but I was like, I feel like I'm dying. Like I can't breathe. My toes are going to break off at the bone. And I know that's very dramatic, but it's not something I enjoy. So it's not something that I'll do.
And I think that like in the stage of life that we're in as moms, like I feel like we get depleted already enough. Like, and so we don't need to really add stress to it. Right. I think I also, and I don't quote me on this, but I read somewhere that cold plunging is actually better for men than it is for women.
Oh.
And I should have facts to back that up, but I know they went off on like, this is why it works for men, and I'm sure women have some benefits to it, but like for the most part, it doesn't show as effective for women as it does for men. Yeah.
Tanner always told me that, I'm talking like Tanner's my doctor, but Tanner always told me that it's best utilized if you sauna first and then cold plunge. And I always I'm like, if I'm going to sauna, if I'm going to cold plunge, I want a sauna right away. I don't want to. He's like, but you have to naturally warm up, and that's where you receive like a lot of the benefits. And I'm just not interested in that. But granted, I mean, that being said, there probably are a lot of benefits that people see from it, and so just because it's not for us doesn't mean it's not for you. Exactly. But I don't like it.
Kyle really likes to cold plunge too, and he really likes to like put his face, like cold plunge his face, like fill up with cold water, and then I could probably get behind that, and I see the benefits for doing just your face. But I just still can't work up the courage to do it.
I remember when we were in DC for Easter, it was almost a year ago now. I think that's when he first started doing that. He like filled up in our Airbnb, he filled up a bowl and put ice cubes in it.
Yeah, that's right.
Put his face down in there, and he came up and he's like, I can't breathe.
It like shocks your system.
Yeah.
It's like panicking.
But he obviously likes it. He's still doing it.
Still does it.
Yeah.
Saunas, on the other hand, I love.
Yeah. Same.
Going back to the detox, I think it detoxifies your system. It's proven that sweating detoxifies your whole body.
Yeah.
So I think that it's honestly something that should be in everybody's routine, which I know isn't always feasible, but if like you can find a sauna, I like to go to the one at Year Round Brown. And then like our wellness center in Watertown has a sauna, so it's not always convenient to go, but I do think that sauna is really beneficial.
Yeah, I agree. We actually have an infrared sauna at our house in our like little storage room, and it's so nice because even if I have 10-15 minutes or something like that, it's nice that I can go sit in it and get in a sweat. But again, that's not the case for everybody, and so I just think it's like one thing that both Tanner and I felt super important, and that it was going to really benefit us, and so we decided to make that investment. But there's also things that you need to be careful of when you're either doing a cold plunge or a sauna. Make sure you're hydrated, just doing it safely. Don't just jump in without doing your research like we talked about earlier, because you don't want to overheat or you don't want to freeze, or just being smart about everything that you're doing is super important too.
I've seen also things that like a sauna blanket. I looked into that because we just don't have room right now for a sauna. And honestly, I think it's Higher Dose has a sauna blanket. Yeah. I would actually be really curious how well that works. Right. I bet it does. But that would be nice to just like have something like that where you could just pull out and
that would be really nice.
Accessible.
Have you seen, is it wool hats? Like people go in the saunas and they put on like wool hats, and it's supposed to not like allow you to be in the sauna, I think, longer without letting your body overheat. Have you seen those?
I think I've seen that. I haven't looked into it too much.
I haven't
I've seen a couple people try that before.
Yeah, I have to look into that. That's very interesting. I downloaded the Brick app, and I just walk up to the fridge and it bricks my phone, and you can adjust the settings to brick certain apps. So like I did all social media, I did a few other apps too, and then if Tanner and I go on a date night or something like that, we're leaving the house going to church, I'll brick my phone, and then I can't physically open those apps until I get home and unbrick it. I know there's like like timers on apps that you can do on your phone, which is good. It's definitely a good start, but you can easily just say like ignore for the rest of the day or 15 more minutes or something like that. And so I needed something that was a little bit more strict.
Yeah, I think it's great for the EMFs, but also the mental health. You can't be on, I think we all notice that when we're on social media too much, that we're just not as happy. And even if you're not someone who like compares yourself to other people, like when you're just exposing yourself to it all the time, it's just not, I think we all know it's not something that needs to be said, that we need to like take breaks from social media and like not always be on it. But there's just so much benefit to just giving yourself boundaries when it comes to your phone and social media. Yeah,
I agree. I saw something the other day that really like hit home for me. It was that I can't remember if it said, I don't think it said dangerous, but it was like the most addicting or the most, I'm paraphrasing here, but it was basically like the most threatening screen time for your child is the one that's in your hand. And so like we can say you're not going to watch the show, or you're not, just be intentional about that, but then if they're watching us constantly on our phone and they're around it, then what's the point? And so I know I definitely need to do a better job about that.
Yeah.
Even if you're just like taking cute pictures and stuff like that, they still catch up on that. The amount of times that Noah reaches for my phone and like wants it because she sees me on it.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, you're one, and you are recognizing that.
Yeah. There's also for me, there's the spiritual aspect to it. I feel like when I get to the point that like I've been on social media more and I wake up in the morning, and I've talked about it here before, but like the morning is when I get into the word, and I usually have like 10 minutes that I can sit there and just read the word.
Yeah.
There's so many times that I can just feel like the enemy likes to use social media for me to distract me from that. Yeah. And it's like actually crazy. I don't know if you've ever been in those situations that you're on Instagram or whatever you're on, and you're like looking at stuff and you're like, okay, in 5 minutes, I'm going to be done. In 10 minutes, I'm going to be done. And I'm like, at 10 minutes gets there, and I'm like, I know it's been 10 minutes, but I don't quit. Like I look at the next thing. I'm like, why? I don't know any other scenario where that happens to me, but it does on social media. And so I just feel like the enemy really does a great job of utilizing social media for that.
I think we unintentionally worship our devices, and I think what you spend your time with or what you give your attention to is basically prioritizing that over the word, and I'm as guilty in that as anybody else. And so it's so true though. It's so easy to just keep scrolling, and you're like, my phone's right here, but I gotta walk over there and I get my Bible, open up my devotions, and then I gotta read, and it's just social media and electronics in general are made to seem just easy and like a natural part of our life, when really it shouldn't be.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, what's the next one?
Next one is Parasite detox or cleanse.
I think that this is a benefit. I think it kind of actually ties into the heavy metal detox for me. I would actually really like to do it, but I would like to have some guidance with it, because I think that there's a lot of products out there that seem like they work really good, but I think I don't want to just jump into it myself. It actually seems kind of scary.
Well, fun fact, I'm actually going to do one, which I think it'd be fun to like debrief it after I'm done. But I'm gonna start at the end of February. It's a 16-day long Parasite cleanse, and Tanner did it last year, and while he was doing it, I told myself I would never do it because it's very involved, and it's not a complete fast, but I really like my food and I like my snacks. But it was crazy to me because while he was doing this Parasite cleanse, he felt the best, had the most energy, and I was just like, how you're eating, I think you can eat like fruit, like certain fruit, and then they have one soup recipe a night, and it's very, I think they're kind of like bland soups. I made them for him last year, but they all support, like each day is focusing on like your kidney, your liver, and stuff like that. And so anyway, I'm going to be doing that at the end of the month, and I'm really nervous about it.
Do you take like a supplement to?
Yeah, they send you all sorts of things. And I honestly, it's through Sanctuary. It's a Sanctuary is what the brand is called, their Parasite detox or cleanse. And so from what I know about it right now, personally, is just watching Tanner do it last year. He made it a goal to do it every year. But I know a lot of people, we have a lot of really good friends that do it, and they're like, it's just, if you want to use it as a reset, that's great. But one of our friends had like black mold poisoning. And again, that's the case. I'm not telling you to do this. Go seek a doctor's help. But she used it and was great. Like it helped her substantially. And so I'm just really excited to see what it can do for me. I've struggled with my gut for a long time. I struggle with eczema still. It'll go away for a while, and then I'll have a really bad flare up when I haven't changed my diet, when I haven't done anything differently. I also just feel like I struggle with energy, and I don't want to have to rely on okay, let's go get another cup of coffee or something like that. So I'm really excited and really scared. So I'll have to debrief after I'm done with it.
Tell us how it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
excited.
fascinating.
Yeah. And I also think there's a lot of different, like similar, like with what you said about the heavy metal detox, there's a lot of different kinds and brands and things out there that you could possibly do. And so again, just take your time, do your research, talk to your doctor if you want to. But I'm excited.
You'll have to let us know how it goes.
Yeah, I will. Okay. Next one, somebody submitted this was something that they really love. Is just they're labeled as hot girl walks, but it's really just getting outside and walking, daily walks. And I think if you have to label it as like a hot girl walk, if you have to, then you do you. But getting outside and walking, I think is, I mean, it's so good for you. One, just being outside, not even being outside in the wintertime. If you go walk, getting in your steps in is so important.
Yeah, I think, I don't think anyone will ever argue that walking is bad.
No.
And it's free. It's easy to do. It's attainable, like no matter where you're at for the most part.
Yep.
I think it's something that everyone can incorporate. Even if like I'm on a call or something, if I'm like on a phone call, it's just walking, like you can incorporate it into different things that you're doing.
You can do it with your family, you can do it with your kids, you can do it with your dog, you can do it with your friends. I mean, it's really, in my mind, there's really not an excuse.
Yeah. There's just a lot, so many benefits that go along with it. Yeah. So it's something that it regulates your nervous system. Obviously, physically good for you to be walking and getting exercise. So I would never ever see why that would be a bad thing.
Right. Yeah. Okay. The next one would be somebody said utilizing social media to do workouts at home. I personally believe you do what you got to do. I mean, if you don't have the time, especially with little kids or a busy work schedule, if that's what you can get in, then that's great. I don't think there's a wrong answer for getting movement in. Like you said I think that goes hand in hand with the daily walks. No one's ever going to convince me that doing any sort of exercise or movement is bad for you.
Yeah. This is the one trend that everybody is probably going to have a different answer, a different when it comes to workouts. Everyone's going to prefer something else. Yeah. So like you obviously have a Pilates studio. I go to a studio for my workouts. I prefer being around people when I work out and prefer the encouragement and having someone lead a class for me. Some people prefer to do their workouts at home and like do a group. There's a lot of group fitness classes that you can do at home and they're led by an instructor. There's things like Peloton and then there's the people that just like to go to the gym and just do their own workouts. Yeah. So however you want to work out is great. Right. Like you find what works for you. And sometimes that changes too. I used to like to go to the gym and just work out on my own. And now I'm in a season of liking the group fitness classes. And I mean, I really love it. I don't see myself changing, but there's different seasons of life for that. Everyone's going to have a different preference for working out.
Yeah, no, I agree. Whatever will keep you consistent with it, I think is good. Next one is not drinking cow's milk. So like really diving into the almond milk, oat milk, coconut milk, soy milk, whatever that looks like. I will preface by saying like, if you have a true allergy or sensitivity, like again, you have to do what you have to do. But I think avoiding cow's milk for purposes that it's not healthy is something that I personally don't understand. I know like oat milk was the big thing for a while, but it's filled with added sugars and it's filled with lots of carbs. And I think that you can find good options. So like if you're somebody that needs to avoid dairy, there's better options out there for you. But I don't personally resonate with not drinking cow's milk or whole milk or raw milk because it's not good for you.
Yeah, I pretty much have the same answer. If you have an allergy or you can't digest milk, this doesn't apply to you. But I don't think it's good to drink any other kind of milk except like cow's milk. And preferably, if anybody knows me, they know that I like raw milk.
Yeah.
Because that's how it was meant to be, and in its purest form. But yeah, some people have digestive issues and they're, they just cannot have milk. But I just don't, any research that I've done with any other kind of milk, oat milk, almond milk, it's filled, like you said, with added sugars, gums, seed oils. I just don't think, if you can't have cow's milk, just don't drink milk. Yeah. That's just my preference.
Well, so Noah really struggled with her reflux when I had dairy in my diet when I was pumping. And so I actually made an almond milk at home. I don't like almond milk. Just generally speaking, I don't like the taste of almond milk. But when I was going to the store and trying to find a cleaner oat milk or dairy alternative, I couldn't find anything good that I liked. And so I started making an almond milk at home, and I actually really loved it. I just soaked almonds for 12 hours. I usually did it overnight, and then I blended it up with, I'm gonna have to find the exact recipe, but I sweetened it with dates, and then I strained it all through a cheesecloth and then stored it in a glass container. And I actually really enjoyed it. Again, I would prefer like a whole milk or a raw milk, but because of the stage I was in, I couldn't have that. And so if you are in that same boat, you don't necessarily have to make your own milk if you want to, and if you have the capacity. I think that's best, because then you actually know what's going into it. But there's better options out there.
Yeah, for sure. I just when it comes to like you said, if you can't have it, find a good alternative. But if you can tolerate milk, I think that raw milk is a superfood. So try to fit it into your diet.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. We are almost done. The next one is staying away from red meat. That is actually one that's super surprising to me, just because I love red meat and I think it is so good for you. And when that really picked up steam about like avoid red meat at all costs, I was like, wait a second.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I don't think I've ever opposed a trend more than this one.
Yeah.
That one actually, like, if that is a messaging that's going out there, it actually makes me kind of angry, because meat is the number one superfood, especially for women, that you can have. It's the iron, the protein, the minerals. Yeah. Like, women absolutely need red meat. You just do. And men too. But there's actually evidence out there that women benefit from meat more than men because of the iron needs that women need.
That makes sense.
The mineral needs, obviously, but everybody needs red meat. And so, yeah, I just, there's no getting around that one.
No. Yeah. It's, that was kind of crazy to me too. And I don't really have anything else to say about that besides like, just eat your red meat. I will always eat red meat.
Yeah. I mean, if you don't agree with me, then let's argue it out, because I won't ever back down and get off that hill. Like, don't even try.
Last knuckles. That's funny. I love it. Okay. Last one that somebody submitted, and then this is our last trend we're going to talk about, is enemas.
Oh yeah. Fascinating, really. I don't know. I mean, I actually think that they're good for you. Yeah. I do. I haven't tried it. Yeah. In the future, I probably will. Yeah. But I don't want to speak to it a lot because I'm not an expert on it. Yeah. But I've listened to another podcast on someone that was an expert on enemas, and they had me convinced. Yeah. So I think it's a good thing to do, but I think it has a bad rap too. Like, people have a bad taste in their mouth with them right now. Yeah.
I think it's probably because it's just like, you don't really want to visualize.
You don't want to talk about it.
Really talk about it. Like, it's like one of those things that's like, are we going to talk about this? Yeah. But I will say, and I mean, I'm just putting myself out there, but that's part of the Parasite cleanse that I'm going to do. Yeah. And so like, it's a daily enema, so we will see. And
I'm excited.
If you don't want to hear me talk about that, then don't listen to that episode.
We're going to be open on this show.
Mom always makes fun of us because we're just like really open about that stuff. So here we are displaying it for the world.
Here's all of our dirty laundry.
Yep, exactly. So we will debrief at a later time when I finish that detox.
Yeah.
So you all have that to look forward to. Okay. Anything else?
I don't think so. I think that really hit on most of the trends that are out there.
Yeah.
Hopefully that was helpful to, I mean, it's really good to talk about. And I think there's always going to be new ones that come and go. But I'll just reiterate by saying it's going to differ for every person. And don't get too consumed by them. At the end of the day, just simplify it. It's better to simplify health rather than try to complicate it and stress you out. So don't try to take on all of the trends and routines and all the things that everybody else is doing and think that you're going to get healthier, because really it's about simplifying your health, and less is more, what we always talk about.
Yeah, for sure. No, just be realistic about what's going to work for you and what's attainable, whether you're talking financially or, like you said, time consuming. Also just think about what's going to bring you joy. Like if I recently, and I know you have one, both have a vibration plate. You have, I think, like a little bit better of a version than I do, but I genuinely like doing that. It's like 10 minutes of my day, and that genuinely brings me joy. And so if it's adding benefits, that's great, but just think about what's going to bring you joy, and what's if cold plunges, if that makes you miserable, don't do it.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think do your research and do what makes sense for you, and don't compare yourself to others, because that's when we get ourselves into trouble.
Totally agree.
Yep.
We hope that you enjoyed this episode on trends and some of the pros and cons on trends overall and certain trends that come out on social media. If you enjoyed this episode, please give us a 5-star review on wherever you listen to your podcasts, and be sure to follow us on Instagram at Threads of Wealth. See you on the next episode.